This is Katie Young.
This is Josh Rucker.
This is the Wealth Effect, where we talk about community, business,
personal development, and financial pathologies.
I think I switched it up on this episode
Yeah,
just a little bit at the beginning.
It's a remix.
And the people going to be able to hear that. And
It's
I
cool.
want all y'all know I apologize in advance.
It's not a mistake.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We can move on.
Cool.
So, hey, tonight's topic, which is very exciting,
Yes.
start off with this one. Because I have friends on both sides of the fence.
Okay.
I do. I talk to people
don't.
on both sides. I do. I'm one of those people who are open. I'm not saying you're not open.
You sound like you just called me close.
Because if I'm open, you close.
Yeah,
But that's not what I'm doing at all. So, Kaepernick and Nike.
Hey, I just bought some Nike stock.
You did?
I did.
High five.
I did.
High five.
I did. I couldn't not buy it.
So, here's the thing with that situation.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see that it's moving, it's movement, and it's progress.
Yeah.
Because, there's a difference. Movement, you could just move everywhere.
Yeah.
And go nowhere. But progress is where you actually move. And I see progress with the whole thing where Kaepernick is kneeling, but silence can speak volumes.
Silence can be deafening for sure. I heard on SportsCenter where they were just talking about Kaepernick with him being in the news and everything. He's taken his case against the NFL, and it's going towards to the Supreme Court.
Really,
they actually decided that it was enough, validity.
You know what else is? I'm all about equality. Like I'm against almost every ism because you got racism,
sexism, ageism, heightism.
Did you just make that up?
No, that's the thing.
No, there is a heightism.
That's the thing.
Heightism is the thing.
I'm 5'5" guy. I lived
it.
That's I lived it.
so all isms and along with Colin Kaepernick, alongside of that, they had Serena Williams. They endorsed Serena because they did that with the Black
Panther,
the British Open, or whoever make the decisions with the whole tennis thing. I don't.
Yeah.
They actually said that they banned the cat suit.
Yep.
They banned she wore a cat suit instead of wearing a skirt.
I didn't never catch their reasoning though.
To ban it?
Yeah.
I don't. Maybe she.
No. Okay, I did. I just lied. They said it was distracting.
All right.
I said it was distracting.
Yeah. So today within the podcast we have a special guest.
Yeah.
Our Facebook family has already heard that we have Dr. Hema Raj.
We have
Did I say that?
Raj.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
And I'm excited tonight because not only are we going to talk about health and wealth, but we're going to get into some solutions. Like, we know the problem. We know that even after the Affordable Care Act, that people still have issues with health. Even though that done what it was some of what it's supposed to do, and people still have issues with health. And so what I become more interested in are numbers, because people say numbers don't lie, but they can be manipulated.
That's true. They can tell two different stories at the same time.
They can.
But
when we talk about money, money, and how much money is spent in the healthcare
and we talk
industry,
about billions.
A lot of
billions.
money. Actually,
trillions.
It's in the trillion.
Trillion.
So America in itself, 26% of the federal budget goes to healthcare. 26%. Now let's put some numbers in it. Okay. That's about $1 trillion. Going to healthcare. Now, here's a kicker though. This is what makes this number where I say it can be manipulated. That's $1 trillion going into healthcare, but you have another $594 billion going into Medicare. Yeah. Of that $1 trillion. So almost half of it, over half of it, is going into Medicare. But this is what those are numbers, but this is what they leave out. They taxpayer dollars.
Yeah. So
in your paycheck, you got your gross.
Yeah.
And then you have everybody else to get paid. Yeah. Then you get paid last.
You get paid.
So where everybody else get paid in the Medicare line, I think total is 4.5% goes to Medicare. You have another 2.9% that goes to Social Security. But you have Medicare Part A and Part B. And so that number, $594 billion as of October 17, 2017, goes into Medicare.
That's a lot of money.
Dr. Hema, do you see a lot of older people? Do you meet a lot of older people in the healthcare field?
I think from the numbers that you're describing, the higher number going towards Medicare is because the medical bills that the older population incurs is the major chunk that the government has to pay off. So that's probably a good description as to why, a larger chunk of the 26 trillion just goes into Medicare.
That's a lot of money. Like
that's a lot of money.
$594 billion just in Medicare alone. Like 26% of the government spending is in healthcare.
Yeah, I really can't. There's a disconnect for me because I don't get sick. Like I'm one of those guys. I don't want to sit here with my chest out. I don't get sick. My immune system is.
Why you have to make your voice deep?
Like,
that make you sound stronger.
Yeah, that's my I don't get sick voice.
Okay.
But yeah, so I never go to the hospital.
Do you ever go to the doctor?
I never go to the doctor, not even for like a checkup. Not.
You gotta talk to him, Dr. Henry.
Yeah. But I pay for it, so yeah, I done my part.
But
I put my 2.9% in.
But you pay. Well, look, this is the thing with Medicare, because I used to work for the government, Social Security. You don't see that until later, and you hope you see it. You don't get it till age 65,
and you not.
You don't get Medicare until 65, unless you're disabled. If you're disabled, you get disability Medicare,
right.
Which you still have to wait for that too. It's a waiting period for that. And so this is what I don't understand about health. If someone, and tonight I'm glad we have an expert on this because this question always burns me up a little bit. If now we had the Affordable Care Act happen,
right? That was a thing.
So let me go back a little bit so I can tell the story properly. So when I was working for the government and I was sitting at Social Security office, people would come in and apply for disability, and so when they apply for disability, they automatically, in most cases, had them apply for Medicare. Now, they could get that disability first, but they have a 1 or 2 year waiting period to get the Medicare.
Wow.
So this is my thing. If someone is already sick and they're telling you they're sick, and we know they're sick, why do they have to wait to get well?
1 to 2 years.
Waiting period.
I've got the answer.
I think I can add to it too.
Okay. You go first.
Because most of the big insurance companies, they have something called as pre-existing disease. And from the time you join in and your insurance gets, I won't say activated, but you're just sort of enrolled into their system. They wait for a 30 to 60 day waiting period depending on different insurances, and they want to make sure you're disease free. Because there has been a lot of insurance abuse, so to say, because people who have pre-existing diseses just tend to get a job just so they can get insurance and get the payouts.
Right.
So just as a security measure, most insurance companies do have that waiting period. They call it the waiting period.
But I thought that with the Affordable Care Act, it didn't go away, but it was minimized. Like they could allow more people to get.
The waiting period principle is something most insurance companies have had it for years,
and
it always works in the benefit of the insurance
and that's just to mitigate risk.
So Medicare, the way I look at it, is like a really large government-run, health insurance. That's really what Medicare is.
Right.
So they're gonna still, try and mitigate their risks, and they're gonna use the waiting period.
But how do you mitigate risk? Okay, this is okay. I'm glad you're here. How do you mitigate risk when someone you would think that would get worse? So by the time so they mitigating the risk, and I think it's 1 or 2 years. I can't remember, but it's something like that.
Yeah.
If they're mitigating risk, the longer they wait to heal someone to get someone back healthy. By the time they make it to the insurance, wouldn't they be more at risk?
Yes, they will be. But you have to look at it how Medicare looks at it. It looks at it as a business.
Is
right? I'm not going to be hiring
worse?
Somebody who already has disability for a physically strainful job, because from day one he's not going to be able to really work.
Right.
So it's sort of, it's not the best example, but that's the whole point in holding off the waiting period.
It makes sense.
And it's definitely more applicable to chronic diseases. Because let's say if you have a common cough and cold, it's not going to run for 2 years. But if you're a diabetic, you have cancer, you have chronic diseases, that's what's going to get worse, and they want to see how bad is it before it can happen. I know it's
somebody's capitalizing on you being sick.
It's capitalism.
And that's what it boils down to.
Absolutely is. And later on we'll talk about if you're somebody who is taking up a new job, if you're in that waiting period, or if you're within Medicare in that waiting time, what are the things you can do as preventative measures and lifestyle changes that can sort of get you to the right part of the equation where, when you do have to get into Medicare or the insurance, it's going to be a smooth transition.
Okay, I can't wait to get to that. Josh, you was going to make a point too.
Yeah, well, let's dive right into it.
Okay, we can go right in. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Because I'm pretty interested in hearing about the different demographics.
Me too. And what's like, I'm excited. I'm just excited about it.
Because, I've been hearing, I'm 28 now, I've been hearing, Josh, as soon as you hit 30, it goes downhill.
Is that true?
I'm kind of scared.
I'm 30. I hit 30.
I mean, you there before.
I lost weight when I hit 30.
But this is not looking good. I don't think I have too much weight to lose.
Well, heightism. Go back. Okay, I'm done.
Really?
I'm finished.
See how he treats me?
So let's get right into it because I really want to hear solutions to the problem. So with that, you said that I think you brought up a good point. You said that they want to mitigate risk, and so how could someone, if they're if I'm a young adult, when I mitigate risk, does it change by age or how does age play a part in healthcare?
All right. So all the listeners here, it's a little bit about my background. I'm a medical doctor. I've been in the States for the last 12 years. I currently focus exclusively on research, and I've worked with a lot of oncology patients for the last 7 years. And part of my job, I don't only look at the medical reports and what risks they have. I've also worked on the health insurance side, and I've seen a lot of bills, and I've seen how the co-payment and the co-insurance works. And being a health provider, one aspect is about getting yourself healthy and fit. The other aspect of it, which is sort of a double-edged sword, is how much of medical bills get racked up on the patient end through the process of them getting better, that it becomes a financial burden the moment you are finally healthy.
So let me get this straight. I don't mean to cut you off. You said one side is the financial side. While you're getting the medical treatment, you're also incurring a lot of debt from getting the medical treatment to get better.
Right.
So if I get better physically, what happens when this debt start rolling in my mental health?
It does affect your mental health.
It does.
It affects your mental health. It affects your relationships. It affects your living status. It affects simple things that you wanted to do. Maybe you wanted to buy a new car or go for a vacation or get married or save some money for your children's education. Now, all those plans, which are still part of your life, because I'm trying to educate the listener to look at it with a very holistic perspective.
I like that. I like a holistic approach because so many times we get in these silos and we say, well, this is it. Well, no, we got to look at everything.
Every aspect of it.
That makes sense.
So, for example, if the head of the household, be it the mother or the father or parents or even the elderly, if they fall sick and they incur a big bill, on one end, they have the burden of understanding what disease they have, what medications to take, and how they can better their health. On the other end, at the end of their recovery phase, there's no rainbow. There's a dark cloud of financial debt.
Of debt. Of a lot of debt.
So, which they have to work towards. And like you pointed, it is a huge mental burden. And most of these patients, especially if you have chronic diseases, there's a lot of time that they miss out of work. So they're probably not getting a full paycheck. Right?
Absolutely.
Some of them are on disability. And all the savings that they've had gets drained off into this debt.
Wow. So their savings are gone. Their mental health is almost gone completely.
Right.
And they have their physical health because they got well. But couldn't their mental...
And any few things that makes you feel better. Think about it. What makes you feel better? Maybe going out on vacation, or maybe going and buying even a new pair of sneakers, or going out for dinner. Even those small bills they can't afford because there's this larger bill that's always hovering over them.
Right.
So literally for them to get themselves out of this dark cloud itself is like another recovery process.
Right. And thinking about it now, because I know that stress is like the number one killer of all time. So if you're stressing about your financials now, after you've gotten physically healthy, you can then become physically ill all over again.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like
it becomes a vicious cycle.
It's cyclical,
It's
definitely.
like a cycle that people go through. It's like